For more on this, let's speak to Mouin Rabbani. He's a non-resident fellow at the Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies. Mouin, great having you. First up, Hamas says it agrees to release all Israeli hostages according to the exchange formula in Trump's 20-point plan. Do you think that's genuine?
Yes, I mean, Hamas has stated from the outset that it is prepared to release all the captives it holds in the context of a prisoner exchange. And the proposal of Trump makes clear that there will be an exchange of captives. So in a sense, this is nothing new for Hamas.
And do you believe that by accepting some terms but rejecting demilitarization until withdrawals happen, is Hamas playing a very risky game here?
Well, let's recall what happened. Trump, together with Arab leaders, worked out a 21-point proposal to bring this genocide to an end and to set the region on a path towards a negotiated peace. Netanyahu went to Washington, managed to substantially revise it, and as a result, Trump presented Hamas with an agreement it could neither accept nor reject, and it was put in a very difficult position. Its response today essentially accepts what it has previously accepted without either accepting or rejecting what it has previously rejected. But it did give Trump his main demands, which is an exchange of captives and an end to the war. It even played to his narcissistic vanity by thanking him personally for coming up with this proposal. And the race was on, if you will, between Israel trying to convince Washington that Hamas had rejected Trump's proposal and the Arab and Muslim leaders trying to convince Trump that they had given enough of an agreement to lay the basis for further negotiations. And for now, at least, Trump appears to have agreed with the latter. The problem with Trump is that he's so fickle and impulsive and unpredictable, you never know what the position is going to be in 2 hours from now. But if he does genuinely follow through by stating that, in his view, Hamas has agreed to his proposal and therefore the war must come to an immediate end, it would be a massive step.
But at the same time, Israel can refuse to meet the conditions laid out by Hamas again, actually, if Hamas, has, as you just said, has not changed its position or conceded anything, then all this conditional acceptance is set to unravel into more fighting instead of peace, right?
Well, that's a decision that will ultimately be made neither by the Palestinians nor by the Israelis, but by the Americans. And Hamas has already agreed to core demands, or rather restated its previous agreement, which has to do with an exchange of captives, removing itself from governance of the Gaza Strip, and so on. And it has neither accepted nor rejected, substantively, I would say, refused to agree with this whole idea of Blair becoming colonial viceroy of the Gaza Strip, and disarmament and so on, by saying that these things are subject to a Palestinian national consensus and international law. In effect, it's giving Trump the immediate victory he needs, giving him an excuse also to divert attention from his growing crisis at home with the government shutdown and so on. And Israel will not be able to continue the genocide unless it has U.S. authorization to do so. And the question now becomes, given Trump's stated position, will he actually follow through on it and impose this emerging agreement on Israel, or will he allow it to once again revise and find a pretext to continue?
I'm sorry, but you just said that you used a word that in international law has a very specific meaning, that is genocide, which is not applicable to this case,
yes,
for the simple reason that there has to be a concerted and proved effort to eliminate a specific population, and that does not apply. And this
I used
brings
that
us
term very advisedly, and I used it on the basis that a consensus of Holocaust and genocide scholars the world's leading human rights organizations, Palestinian International and Israeli now even, and many others have already concluded that it's a genocide. You're right that a formal legal determination will take some time, but I think as with other cases of genocide, one can already conclude that what is happening is a genocide because it is an intentional destruction in whole or in part of a protected population pursuant to the 1948 Genocide Convention.
I will skip the definitions and I want to move on with the politics behind here.
Well, you asked me about them.
There are certain words that we should use in a very judicious way, I believe. But nevertheless.
And that's what I did.
And the next question is probably what I wanted to move on with. Because if the U.S. is actually finding a way to peace, does it boost the legitimacy of the U.S. in solving conflicts in the region?
Well, certainly in this case, I mean, you have to remember also that Trump was elected in part on the basis of a non-interventionist constituency, which wanted the U.S. at least not to get involved in additional foreign wars. And on this basis, he presented himself as someone, as you may recall, he would resolve Ukraine within 24 hours. He would bring the genocide in Gaza to an end and all kinds of other conflicts. And he hasn't had success, really, anywhere else except between Cambodia and Armenia, in his words. But this is an opportunity for him to actually make the guns fall silent. He will get a lot of appreciation for doing that, particularly by regional governments who are desperate to see what is becoming an expanding regional war, which is destabilizing the entire region, brought to an end.
Mouin Rabbani, thank you for your time and insights.